Mr. Evans, another big thing right now, two wars that we are looking at over on the other side of the pond. According to a CNN report, the U.S. has spent a record of at least $17.9 billion to aid to Israel since the war in Gaza began. Would you continue military aid in Israel?
Israel has the right to exist, and Israel has the right to defend itself. That's something I say commonly. And right now, Israel is surrounded. On the north, it has Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization. On the south, it had Hamas, which is largely eliminated, which is a terrorist organization. To its east, we have Iran, which is the biggest state funder of terror in the entire world, launching hundreds and hundreds of missiles towards Israel. And so Israel needs to be able to defend itself, and one of its greatest allies is the U.S. And I think we need to make sure we're continuing to help fund Israel, give them what they need to be able to survive in the first place. Because there are organizations and terrorist organizations that are just hell-bent on eliminating Israel, and that's wrong. I think we all know that. You know, Israel is a good democracy in the Mideast, and we need to support them. So that's something I really do care tremendously about, and I think that Hamas needs to be eliminated. Hamas takes supplies from its citizens to use for war purposes or terror purposes. Hamas does not Hamas actually also embeds itself among citizens to try to hide themselves or maximize civilian casualties to put pressure on Israel to stop attacking them. I mean, they are a terrorist organization. They need to be gone.
So you would continue support for Israel?
Yes, I would.
As of April, Congress has appropriated more than $174 billion to assist Ukraine. What about aid to Ukraine? Would you continue aid to Ukraine? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I think right now, I think Ukraine is also our ally over in Europe, and I think that we need to also help Ukraine. I think that right now, especially when it came back to April, we realized that, hey, Ukraine was running out of munitions. They were in a really tough place, and they were looking like they could be overrun. And in all honesty, I think that China is our greatest geopolitical threat. And the reason why I mention China right now is because a win for China also is related to a win for Russia. And if Russia takes over Ukraine, that's not good for the world. It's not good for the U.S. And it's also, it happens to actually be good for China. And that's not something that we want. So we need to go ahead and continue to support Ukraine. There needs to be better accountability for the funds that are given to them. There's been poor accountability on that note. And we need to make sure that they're using it the way that it's intended to be used. And in addition to that, excuse me, we need to also have a better diplomacy. We've had weak diplomacy from the White House the past number of years. And when we saw what happened with Afghanistan, with the failed withdrawal and all the negative things that happened with Afghanistan, that made it easier for Vladimir Putin to get enticed to try to take over Ukraine. So we need much stronger leadership from the White House and from our foreign policy to also make sure that evil actors, whether that be Iran or potentially Vladimir Putin, don't continue to engage in their desire to go ahead and take over or eliminate nations.